Our dear respected viewers, Muslims and all seekers after truth, Assalamu alaikum. Once again, we are very happy to be with you here after a lapse of some time. And we would like to thank all of you who have sent in your kind and open comments. Thank you very much. Our position today will be based upon a very, very controversial topic. And it is the concept of the return of Jesus, or the second coming of Jesus, which is truly a highly controversial and complex subject. We are very much aware of that. This belief is shared by the Christians generally and also by Muslims in the house of Islam. It has passed down through the ages as a preconceived belief because there was not proper regard for the assessment of the scripture that speak upon this concept. Let me start by pointing out that all information regarding the second coming of Jesus are to be treated as prophetic. They are prophecies, and prophecies need to be interpreted like a dream. A dream is like when you see something in a dream, you want to know what it means. If you see a snake or gold or fire, when you get up in the morning, you want to know what it means. You don't limit it to what you have seen. This is also consistent with the Holy Quran. In chapter 12, verse 4, when it speaks of Prophet Yusuf 𝔰𝔥𝔞𝔯𝔢 and many others. In that part of the Holy Quran is telling us that Prophet Yusuf 𝔰𝔥𝔞𝔯𝔢 had a dream in which he saw in his dream the sun and the moon and 11 stars making obeisance to him. This very dream is also recorded in the Old Testament, the Bible, in the book of Genesis, chapter 37, verse 9, where he dreamt and he told his brothers about his dream, and he told them that he saw the sun and the moon and 11 stars bowing to him. This is reported in the both scriptures, Holy Quran and also the Holy Bible. But when you look into it, what happened there? It was interpreted. It was interpreted to mean something else. The sun, the moon symbolize something. 11 stars symbolize something. And he explained, when the dream was explained, it meant that the sun and the moon represented his father and mother, and 11 stars represent his 11 brothers. Also, what he saw in the dream that they were prostrating to him pointed that in distant future they will all be made submissive to his authority. And so it did happen. So prophetically, it was subjected to interpretation, and if it was not interpreted properly, then the message of the prophecy would have been of no use. So, too, my brothers and sisters, in the Holy Quran about other prophecies, that the words were never meant to be taken literal. And I think this is truly the very first mistake that is made regarding the prophecies that speak about the return of Jesus in Islam and also in Christianity. These prophecies reads, I quote, from the Bible and the book of Matthew, New Testament 24, 39 and 40. It reads, immediately after tribulations of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars fall down from heaven, and the powers of the heaven will be shaken. Then the sign of the Son of Man will appear in heaven, and all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. Unquote. Now this is from the Bible. It's telling us about an event, to look forward for this event, prophetically. The questions that you need to get back to from this prophecy will be, who is this Son of Man this prophet is talking about? And secondly, why would all the tribes of the earth mourn? So, in this prophecy, we have two main questions coming back towards it, based upon the Bible. In Christianity, also in Islam, we are told now, in Sahih al-Bukhari, chapter 60, verse 49, excuse me, it reads, the Holy Prophet Muhammad have said, I swear by him who holds my life in his hands, that a son of Mary will descend among you, as an arbiter and a judge, and shall break the cross and kill the swine and postpone the war. Unquote. In another report, it says in 𝔠𝔬𝔪𝔪𝔢𝔫, it says, what will be your condition when the Son of Man will descend among you? He will be your imam from among yourselves. Unquote. These two reports are telling us, pointing out who this prophecy is referring to. Is telling us. These are recorded words from the prophecies itself. But not only that, we will also find that along with these prophecies, certain glaring signs were also given, as you will also notice later, inshallah. Now, in approaching the subject matter, along with other scriptures, we will find that according to the Holy Quran, our Holy Prophet is compared to the like of Prophet Moses alayhi salam. In the Holy Quran, I quote chapter 73, verse 15, which states, surely we have sent to you an apostle, a witness against you, as we sent an apostle to Pharaoh. Unquote. Here Allah subhanahu is drawing our attention that Allah have sent a witness against the Quraysh, as He have sent a witness against Pharaoh. Now we all know who went to Pharaoh, Prophet Musa alayhi salam. So the similarity is drawn here between Prophet Musa alayhi salam and the Holy Prophet Muhammad salam. There are many similarities between these two prophets. There are many similarities, but the main similarity among them is because they were both law-giving prophets. Prophet Musa alayhi salam brought the law for the children of Israel. There was no other law-giving prophet that was sent to them except Prophet Musa alayhi salam. And the Holy Prophet salam brought a comprehensive law for all of mankind. So there were the two law-giving prophets mentioned here, and the similarities are there. No other prophet fit that description except Holy Prophet salam and Prophet Musa salam. And because of this, both their ummah will share certain similarities as well. For instance, in the Holy Quran chapter 24 verse 25, it states, I quote, Allah has promised to those of you who believe and do good that He will most surely make them successors in the earth as He made successors those before them, and that He will most certainly establish for them their religion which He has chosen for them. Unquote. Here we find that Allah subhanahu is promising by those before them are meant the followers of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. They are compared, those before us were followers of Prophet Musa alayhi salam. And we are told that the verse establishes a grand principle similarity between the systems founded by Prophet Musa alayhi salam and Prophet Muhammad salam. After Prophet Musa alayhi salam, there have been a lapse of centuries that led up to the coming of the promised Messiah, Jesus son of Mary, in the house of Israel. A lapse of centuries. As a matter of fact, 14 centuries to be exact. Prophet Musa was succeeded successfully by prophets who came and revived his law. In like manner, our Holy Prophet Muhammad also received inspired reformers after him. These were the different mujaddids in the different centuries who also renovated and restated his laws. This is also why the Holy Prophet Muhammad's reporter have said, the learned of my ummah will be like prophets of Israel. They will be like prophets. All that are coming with the similarities are there. They will be like the prophets of Israel. And that is because prophethood has come to a close with the advent of our beloved Prophet. If this are not so, then those that came after Prophet would have been prophets as well. But because he's the seed of Nabi, he's the seed of prophethood, no prophet can ever come after him. So, prophethood was replaced by mujaddids. And in like manner, how Prophet Musa received at different centuries, different prophets, so too in the house of Islam, our Holy Prophet will receive different mujaddids. In the 𝔠𝔬𝔪𝔪𝔢𝔫, volume 5, page 205, it states, Holy Prophet report have said, the number of my caliphs will correspond to the number of successors of Moses. I repeat, the number of my caliphs will correspond to the number of the successors of Prophet Musa. Unquote. Again, the Holy Prophet wants while addressing his companions, exclaimed with joy, with happiness. And he said, I quote, "How can my ummah be annihilated and undone when I am its beginning and Jesus son of Mary is at its close and a 12th caliph is in between?" Clear wording. How can it be annihilated? I am in the beginning, Jesus son of Mary is at its close, and a 12th caliph is in between. So here again we find that a time frame was given for the advent of the son of Mary in Islam, which is 1400 years to be exact after Holy Prophet, according to what he himself explained. This time frame was also recognized as a time given for the return of Jesus in the Christian world, according to Christianity, by their own theologians, and they quote the passage from the book of Daniel. I am giving just a part of this long prophecy from the book of Daniel, and it reads, "And from the time that a daily sacrifice shall be taken away, and the abomination that maketh desolate set up, there shall be 1,290 days." Unquote. According to the book of Daniel, chapter 12, verse 9 to 11. Here we find that actually the same time frame is given. One day is compared to a year according to the book of Ezekiel, chapter 4, verse 6. So it means that after 1,290 years from the daytime the daily sacrifice shall be taken away, then this event shall be fulfilled. That daily sacrifice was being done on a daily basis, where the Jews were commanded to slaughter a lamb every morning, as was commanded in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 46, verse 13. They were commanded to make a sacrifice every morning. This practice was discarded in the 6th century, which coincides with the advent of the Prophet of Islam. Therefore, according to the book of Daniel, the descent and fulfillment of this prophecy should be around 1890, 1891. This is why, in the beginning of the 19th century, the American Mission published a book entitled Our Lord Returned in 1900. They published a book because the time was right now for the second coming of Jesus to be fulfilled. And they said that it should be in 1900. Christian clergymen and ministers of the word have been giving actual dates for the return of Jesus since 1844. The Rupture, a branch of Christianity, also gave a date which is long past due. Even 𝔰𝔤𝔞𝔯𝔢 stated that Jesus will return on the 31st of December 1992. My brothers and sisters, the time given in both these scriptures have come and gone, yet no one have appeared. Yet no one came. But not only that, in Islam, certain signs were also given. For instance, we are told that one of the signs will be that Hajj will be stopped. Hajj was being performed without any stoppage since its inception. However, it was stopped in 1889 by the order of the government on account of an epidemic that was raging at that time. Another sign was that fire will burn from the east for 7 days. This fire broke out in Java in 1883 and was seen for 7 days continuously. Also, another sign was that there will be a solar and a lunar eclipse in the holy month of Ramadan. This took place in 1894. It is said that something like this have never happened before, and it will never happen again. These signs and quite a few more was given to help us to identify this promised person, this promised figure, to know a time when time will happen and who he will be. And even the condition of the time and the people were also described. In Islamic source, we are told, Holy Prophet Muhammad's reporter have said, I quote, "The Muslims shall become like the Jews. Their kingdom shall crumble like dust. The rich will be indifferent to the needs of the nation. The bad among the ulama will be hypocrites and will deviate from the path of righteousness and rectitude and will condemn one another as heretics. Masks will be many, but the Qazis and the Maulvis will not be worthy of their office. Singers and dancers will be held in respect. Adultery will be excessively committed with a feeling of pride and arrogance. Men will assume the appearance of women, and women the appearance of men, in form and habits as well. Camels will be thrown out of use, etc., etc., etc. This is from 𝔠𝔬𝔪𝔪𝔢 al-Umal. Again, the Holy Prophet said, again in the same book, he says, "A time shall come upon my people when Islam shall be left in name only. The Quran will be read by way of mere ceremony, and nobody will act upon it. The ulamas will be the worst creatures under the sun. All mischiefs will emanate from them, and the chastisement of Allah will come upon their heads." 𝔠𝔬𝔪𝔪𝔢 al-Umal. My dear brothers and sisters, all these and more information are given by our beloved Prophet ﷺ to help us to identify this promised one. The time when he will come, what will happen during his time? Confusion, irreligiousness, and so much things will be going on that you'll know the time is right. Nations, not only that, you'll find from the Christian point of view, in the Bible, it mentions about that age as well. It says, regarding that, in the book of Matthew again, it says, famines at that time shall stalk the land. Earthquakes and epidemic of plague will break out. Nations will rise against nations, kingdoms against kingdoms, etc. All these signs have already been fulfilled, obviously. Every nation have seen these signs fulfilled. Yet, no one came. What went wrong? Were these prophecies wrong? Or did we understand them to be wrong? The Jews are still awaiting the coming of Elijah, who was foretold to come before the promised Messiah. It is now 3,000 years yet. The Christians are still awaiting the coming of Jesus for almost 2,000 years. Yet, this date has come and no one came. They forgot that it was Jesus, peace be upon him himself, who explained to them that a prophecy of the return of an old prophet do not mean the return of the same and said prophet. It does not mean that. In the book of Matthew chapter 17:10, he explained and told them that John the Baptist came and fulfilled the prophecy that was meant for the coming of Elijah, the old prophet. John and Elijah are not the same persons, but it was John who fulfilled the prophecy that was meant for him. We as Muslims also have to bear in mind that the holy prophets were in this prophecy never meant the son of Mary from the house of Israel. He never meant that. But he meant the like of that person in the house of Islam. Rather, he was referring to the like of the son of Mary. Remember the full form? The Lord of my ummah will be like the prophets of Israel. And many of his companions were compared to the prophets of Israel. Hazrat Abu Bakr was compared to Hazrat Ibrahim alayhi salam. Prophet Moses was compared, Hazrat Umar was compared to Prophet Moses, etc., etc. So when he talked about the son of Mary, he was talking about the like of son of Mary, and not the old Jesus, peace be upon him. Note the words of the prophecy, which states that he will be your imam, wa imamakum minkum, wa imamakum minkum, he will be your imam from among you, from among yourself, among us the Muslims. That is why the prophecy begins with the words, Kaifa antum, what will be your condition, pointing to surprise and confusion, because the prophecy will be fulfilled contrary to everyone's expectation. And no wonder, one of the prophecies from the Bible itself states that when he returns, all the tribes of the earth shall mourn. And remember we asked earlier that the question we asked, why will all the tribes of the earth mourn when he's coming? If the Christians and the Muslims have been eagerly waiting for his return, and now he finally return after such a long time, one would expect to have noticed merrymaking and happiness, satisfaction. The anxiety is now gone. But instead, they'll be mourning. Why would they be mourning? Why? The reason is because all the tribes made the same mistake. All the tribes of the earth made the same mistake. They all were expecting the appearance of the old prophet Jesus from the house of Israel, which was never meant to be. From the Bible, it's clearly stated that Jesus himself said in the book of John, chapter 16:10, he says, I go to my Father and you see me no more. He made it very clear. I go to my Father and you see me no more. That he was talking about himself personally. Everything else was prophetically. When he talks about his second coming, it's never meant to be taken literally. He confirms, from the Bible we find, he confirms that all the prophets who came before our Prophet, including Jesus, are all dead and will never ever return back to this world. Holy Quran confirms that. No one who is dead can return back. And we know from the Holy Quran that not only Jesus, but all the prophets that came before Prophet, they are all dead. They are all dead. And the dead will never return. But the prophecy will be fulfilled by one from the Ummah of the Holy Prophet, who will be an Imam from among us the Muslims. Fikum wa imamakum minkum. Today we are hearing once again from Christian preachers on YouTube, etc. We are saying Jesus' coming is only days away. Obviously, the confusion lives on. My dear brothers and sisters, let us all consider most meaningfully, if Jesus himself were to come again, for argument's sake, who would be able to recognize him, seeing now it's over 2,000 years? All those who knew him are all dead. Nobody alive today know him and said, yes, I know him. We used to live together, I know him. There's no one who can see that. If he's alive to this day, what would be his condition regarding age? The Holy Quran says in chapter 36:68, he says, whomsoever we cause to live long, reduce to an object changing creation. Do they not understand? If you see a man of 60 years walking, a man of 100 years walking, you'll notice the difference right there. Because the one is more feeble. You see a 100 years man walking today, it's an amazement. It will be truly unthinkable to see a 2,000-year-old man walking among us. It's not a laughing matter. It's a matter to take seriously. Can you imagine a man coming back 2,000 years old walking among us? Holy Quran says, whoever begot a long life reduced to an object changing creation. Mean that old age will take us over. Thirdly, a prophet, my brothers and sisters, a prophet is sent with a prophetic mission. If he comes back, if Jesus peace be upon him comes back, it means we are saying that Islam is not yet perfected. Allah forbid. When the Holy Quran declares that Islam has been perfected and completed in chapter 5 verse 3. But we are saying if he comes back, he got to come with a prophetic mission. That our religion is not perfected. Allah forbid. And secondly, it will mean that Jesus, peace be upon him, and not our Holy Prophet will be the Khatamun Nabiyyin, the last of the prophets. Allah forbid. Holy Quran declares that Prophet Muhammad is the last and the final prophet. No prophet can come after him again. So if Jesus, peace be upon him, were to come again, he will destroy the concept of Khatamun Nabiyyin. If he do not come as a prophet, then we are challenging the wisdom of Allah subhanahu himself by saying this. Allah forbid. Why would Allah subhanahu keep Jesus, peace be upon him, this long alive, just to send him back to become a follower of Prophet Muhammad? Why would that be? My dear brothers, think about it. Allah is acting wisdom. That's not wisdom. It's for us to understand that it's not wisdom. Most for Allah subhanahu. Allah does things in perfection and in wisdom. I have heard some leading Muslim imam say that Allah has kept him alive to send him back to let people know that Jesus never claimed to be God. That's what they are saying. I heard that. This belief was also confirmed by the Holy Quran, and the name of Jesus had been cleared of this blasphemous accusation over 1,400 years ago. And not only him, but all the prophets who were slandered were cleared, their names were cleared in Islam by the Prophet of Islam, Prophet Muhammad. So this is one of the most far-fetched reasons for keeping Jesus Prophet alive up to this day. The most far-fetched. My dear brothers and sisters, our beloved Prophet Muhammad explained in the prophecy that the promised Messiah for us the Muslims will not be the Jesus of the house of Israel, but rather he will be an imam from among his ummah, a Muslim. He will be an imam from among us the Muslims. My dear sisters, Jesus the prophet of the house of Israel, will himself never return back to this world because he is dead, like all the other prophets, and the dead will never return. But what then does the prophecy which speaks about his return means, and how is it fulfilled? Please join us again next time when we will inshallah continue. I thank you, my brothers, for listening, and may Allah bless us all. Thank you.